What's happening, everyone? Welcome back to the shop. Now this is part 2 or a follow-on video from my electrician's hand tools, one of the tools I use every day to make money. This video is going to be about the power tools I use every day as an electrician to make some money, and I'll take you through them from ones that get used every single day all the time to tools that have specific jobs, the tools that have been real game changers, tools that are really old and are still functioning, so they're actually fantastic tools. I'll tell you why I bought the ones I bought and what I have here, so it should be a little bit interesting, and hopefully you guys will find it interesting. So I have a bit of a head cold as well, so if I sound a bit bunged up, yeah, forgive me. Let's crack on. Right, to start, this is what I transport all my power tools in. I have the Milwaukee pack-out system with the organizer trays. I've done reviews on all this already, and if you've watched my channel, you've heard me bang on about this thing loads of times, so I'm not going to spend any time on this now. This is just what the tools get transported in. Right, to start with then, this is my drill and impact driver set. Again, it's in the Milwaukee pack-out system. I have an organizer tray clipped to the top of it with all the bits in it that I need for my drills and my impact driver. I just grab this, grab my tote bag and my tool belt, and I'm usually set to do most any job that I need to do, so it's handy just to grab. I won't bang on about this again because I've already done a review on the pack-out system. I'll leave a link up here, and I've done this organizer tray as well, so I'll leave a link up there or down below. Go check that out. So inside it I have the Milwaukee drill and impact driver. These are the Gen 2 drills. Now the Gen 3 stuff is out. It's been out for a while, so these are a couple of years old. These have been used and abused. It's the fuel range, which is Milwaukee's professional range. They do like a DIY range as well, which is not the fuel. So if you see the fuel, it's the brushless motors. Again, as you can see by the condition of this drill, it's well used and abused. They're great tools. This has not let me down. The only thing I don't like about it is the chuck. The chuck did get stuck on me once. I went to release a bit out of it and it sanded a patch out of the center of my hand. The drill just span, the chuck didn't release, and yeah, I had to take the pump pliers through to try and release the chuck. That was the only fault that I have with this. And the new Gen 3 Milwaukee tools, they've changed the chuck. I think they've put a Jacobs chuck on it now, so they've sorted that problem out. But other than that, it's absolutely fantastic. I had D-wall tools. I switched to Milwaukee. It's not that I didn't like D-wall tools. D-wall tools are fantastic. I still have some D-wall tools here. Some of my old still working tools are D-wall tools. It's just that a great deal came up on the Milwaukee stuff. I was looking to switch from the nickel cadmium batteries to the lithium ion ones and to the brushless motors. My D-wall tools are coming to the end of their life, and I got a good deal on the Milwaukee stuff. That was the reason I switched. And I have to say, I'm more than happy with the Milwaukee stuff as well. It's fantastic, and none of it has let me down yet, and some of it has been a real game changer. We'll get to that now in a minute. So that's my drill and impact driver. These get used all the time, and like I say, there's not a day goes by that I don't ever use these tools. Every single job I go on to, I need both of these. So yeah, definitely look into them if you're Sparks. And like I say, the Milwaukee brushless stuff, plenty powerful, plenty good. Moving on. This is my SDS drill. Now this drill is 15 years old. This is a 24 volt nickel cadmium battery in this D-wall. I'm not sure the model number of the drill. As you can see, the label has gone off it. Like I say, this has been on the go for 15 years and it has not failed yet. I've bought a new battery for it. The batteries did wear out, but that's normal enough for batteries over 15 years. But the drill itself is still going as good as ever. And it's usually 5.5, 6 mil, 8 mil, 10 mil. All roll bolt stuff I drill with it. I don't abuse it, so I use it for its intended purpose. And like I say, it's been going for 15 years now, which is pretty impressive. And they don't make it anymore. All the new stuff is like I say, the lithium ion stuff now. This drill, or the latest model of this drill, is available in the FlexiVolt system. So that's what I was going to upgrade to, but like I say, I got a deal on the Milwaukee stuff, so I switched to Milwaukee. So when this does come to its end of life, I'll probably get a Milwaukee fuel drill, just because I'm now invested in that battery system. But I have to say, this has been a fantastic servant to me over the years, this 24 volt SDS drill. I remember when I started my time as an apprentice, just before SDS Plus became commonplace, we all still had the standard masonry stuff where you just switch the ring on the top of the drill to switch it to hammer action, and my God, those things were loud, noisy and painful to use, and it took forever to drill a hole in a concrete block. We used to use the old Makitas. I don't know if any of you remember them. I'll leave a picture in now so you can see the one I'm talking about. But that thing was so loud and so noisy, and yeah, you'd spend a week drilling a hole. Fantastic drills, they never failed, but When SDS came on the market, it just made drilling concrete so much easier, so much faster. And yeah, this is a fantastic tool. Moving on, this is my Milwaukee multi-tool. Now, this is one of the game changers. I remember when these things came on site about 10 years ago. I remember the first guys to get them were probably all carpenters and chippies. And everybody was like, what the hell is that thing? What's it for? And the things you can do and cut with these things is just phenomenal. And once you have one in your toolkit, you'll never want to be without it. This actually now sits inside my tote bag all the time because it gets used almost every day. If I have to cut a floorboard, take out a section, cut out a slab to put a box in it, you know, cut some floor, cut some skirting, I need to remove something out of the way, you can cut face on, straight up, straight down, remove. It's amazing what you can cut with these things. Plastic, metal, wood, no problem. You will find jobs to use these for. And like I say, this section of tools here, every single day that I'm working as an electrician, these get used and abused, and this one has been well used and abused, mostly for cutting out boxes in drywall, in plasterboard, cutting in wing boxes, that kind of thing, and it is absolutely fantastic. Even when you're going into ceilings, you need to take a little piece of timber out, notch timber, any of that kind of work. For cables, this thing has been a lifesaver and an absolute game changer. And like I say, I remember when these things came on site about 10 years ago. They were all corded at the time and they were a revolution. So definitely look at getting yourself a multi-tool. You will not be disappointed. Okay, moving on down, and I'm beginning to lose the ability to talk here, so I'll try and get through it as quick as I can. This is the Milwaukee Whole Hog. This has been an absolute revolution for me. I've already done a review on it, and you've probably heard me mention it in a few videos. This is probably the best tool that I have bought in the last few years. I have this about a year now, and when it comes to drilling out houses, this thing is just an absolute game changer. To have a cordless option with this much power, and this is only the standard one. There is a super hog again, which they aim for at plumbers for drilling slightly larger holes in timber. But this one, like I say, I've used, abused it and tested it. I've drilled out 5 or 6 large houses with it now. I've rewired some really old houses, drilling out some pitch pine and stuff like that, and it flies through it. In conjunction with these Milwaukee self-feed bits, it's a serious bit of kit, and it really takes the pain out of drilling out houses to run cables. It just makes it so much easier. I have the actual original Milwaukee Whole Hog right here, and this one came from America. My business partner, he spent 6 years working as a Sparks in the States between New York and San Francisco, and he brought this back with him, and we've used this on site for, I suppose, 15 years. We said we're in business now about 15 years together, yeah, so this has been on the go. We've drilled out many a house with this. It's a serious bit of kit, and it has a serious amount of torque in it. But just to have a corded option that's nearly as powerful as the corded one is just unbelievable. And it's a lot lighter too. This is a big lump of a drill. It has a low and high setting, this corded version, and yeah. A friend of mine, he was drilling out a ceiling with this. It got stuck in some chicken wire. He had it on the low torque setting. The drill span around and split him straight across the forward. So he's never used this drill on the low setting ever again. He's too afraid. I don't blame him. It's a serious bit of kit. This particular one, he bought it in the mid-90s. So this is over 20 years old now, and it's still going strong. But we use this one now. We don't carry generators or stuff to us when we're doing one-off houses out in the countryside where there's no power. It's all battery power now, so you don't have to listen to a generator running outside all day. You're not running leads around the site. It's all battery stuff, and when you have a battery alternative to the corded alternative, it's just fantastic. And like I say, there's a few tools in the last few years that I've bought that have really changed the game. Oscillating tools, these cutters, and this Milwaukee Whole Hog. If you're a Sparks, seriously look at getting one of these in conjunction with them self-feed bits, and you won't be disappointed. I might actually do a comparison video with the two of these in the near future, so we'll see. Let me know if you want to see that, and I'll show you the difference. There's not a whole lot of difference between the powered and the unpowered, or the corded and the battery one now, but yeah, that's the Milwaukee Whole Hog. An unreal piece of kit. Right, moving on down, not really a power tool, but an essential piece of kit. And once you start using one, again, you won't want to be without it. This is my Bosch laser level. It's the GLL2-50 professional laser level, and it's self-leveling, so the laser itself sits on a gimbal. You just pull it all the way back, and as you can see, you can rock it, you can hear it shaking, and it will level itself. So even if it's on an uneven surface, it self-levels, and you have vertical and horizontal, or vertical and horizontal at the same time. I don't know if you can see that on my hand there, and you can see if I shake it, it's self-leveling, which is fantastic. And once you start using one of these things on a job, you will see just how much time it actually saves you. If you're putting up a row of lights and you want a dead straight line and you don't want to mount the ceiling by snapping a chalk line on it, then there you go. If you're laying out sockets in a large kitchen, you want everything perfectly level because the kitchen is going to be tiled later on and you can see those straight lines run around. You want every single socket and switch perfect. Just set it up, switch it on, and you have a beam all the way around your room. All your sockets and switches are bang on. Same if you're working with trunking or conduit or tray or anything like that, and you have loads of conduit drops. You have a straight line, you can just put it on the wall and just move it around the room. You have a straight line wherever you want it. And it's for marking out stuff, for measuring stuff, for lining up stuff. It takes seconds rather than minutes. And anything that saves you time on a job saves you money. Because as you know, time is money on all these jobs. So that's a laser level. That's the Boss Professional one. I really like it. And like I say, it's made a good few pounds for me because it saved us a lot of time and we use it the whole time. And even in jobs you wouldn't expect to use it, you'd think to yourself, grab the laser, that just might do the job here. And more often than not, it does. So yeah, definitely think about getting one of those. Okay, moving on down again, and these are some tools that get used not as often, but when you need them, you really need them. This is my grinder. Mostly when I'm doing industrial work, I use the grinder. Now my voice is really starting to go, so I'll try and get through this a bit quickly. But yeah, the grinder for cutting stuff, those skinny cutting discs are ideal for cutting trunking and stuff like that, but it's a bit of a pain. You have to apply for a hot works permit, and then you also have to do a course now in order to use a grinder. You have to have a ticket, as they call it, or a little card. When you go out to site, health and safety in Ireland is unbelievably strict now. You can't even walk 2 feet off the ground. You have to have a cage around you just to get that high off the ground. It's becoming ridiculous, but yeah, you need a card and you need a hot works permit to use it on site, so they're becoming less and less used on site. A lot of guys are switching to the bandsaws, the battery powered bandsaws to do all our cutting because you don't need a hot works permit and you don't have to go do a health and safety course to get the license to use them. So yeah, I don't use it a whole lot, but when I need it, you need it. And for grinding down stuff, that's a grinder. So yeah, I'm definitely going to think about getting one of those bandsaws. So yeah, when I get one, I'll do a review on it. This is the Sawzall. You all guys know what this is. Again, just a reciprocating saw. Mostly when it comes to rewiring houses or tearing up floorboards, we need to get stuff apart. We need to get into ceilings. If the house has been gutted and you need to get into stuff to get old wires out, new wires in, the Sawzall is ideal. When it comes to pulling anything apart, a Sawzall is your only man. And yeah, it's amazing what you can cut with this. Just like that oscillating saw, but with a lot more power. And we just have a circular saw again for pulling up floorboards. If you're going to somebody's house and you need to get sockets around the room and they don't want any surface work whatsoever, you usually end up pulling up floorboards, taking up the carpets upstairs, pulling up the floorboards to get cables around, and a circular saw is essential as an electrician. You might not think we'd use them, but we do use them. Again, you want a nice neat job to cut up a floorboard, make sure it goes back down so there's no creaks in the floor, so you have to worry about all that kind of stuff, and that's where the circular saw comes in. Okay, last but not least is my DeWalt Kango hammer. Now the exact model of this, I'm not sure. Again, the label is well and truly gone off this. This is another tool that's 15 years old and this has been through an awful pile of work. I've chased out a couple of hundred houses, I'd say, with this thing. It's a big heavy Kango hammer and it really does the job. When you need to break up concrete, this is your man. I've broken up many a floor, many a footpath, and chased many a house with it. I don't like the wall chasers. There's those twin disc wall chasers. They just take all day. They're a pain to use. I like to get a new chisel bit, run this down the wall. It's heavy enough to go down through the concrete under its own steam. So that's how I use it. And yeah, it's like I say, this thing has been through an unbelievable amount of work and has paid for itself 10 times over. So it's another DeWalt tool that's 15 years old. I don't chase as much houses as I used to. I'm trying to stop if I can. I usually get another guy in to chase for me. Now, my wrists over the last 20 years of chasing have taken a lot of punishment. One thing they don't tend to tell you when they say, go into the trades, it's a fantastic job, you can travel the world and you can make a heap of money. You can do all that, but it's also backbreaking. You're also exposed to all sorts of hazardous chemicals and dust and yeah, backbreaking work. And like I say, after 20 years now, my hands are really starting to suffer from all this kind of work. So an absolutely powerful tool, but I try to use them as little as I can nowadays. I try to stay away from the domestic stuff. I'm kind of gone more into the commercial and industrial stuff. So yeah, but when I need it, it's there. If you need to get up a footpath, you need to get cables into the ground, you need to cut concrete. Usually this with the gas saw or the con saw, in conjunction with this, we can cut channels in concrete and get pipes in where we need to get them and stuff like that. So yeah, that's my D-Wall Kango hammer, a faithful servant over the last 15 years. And yeah, we've chased many a house together. Right guys, there you go. That has been a quick look at the power tools I use every day to make money. Some of them are new, some of them are old, some of them have been really game changers, and yeah, some of them have made me a few pound over the last few years. For my American viewers, if you're wondering about this whole hog and how come it works over here, everything on site in Ireland and the UK, and I think most of mainland Europe, has to run on 110 volts. So it works perfect. So that's why this works, and it still has the original American plug on the end of it, and we just stuck a 110 industrial 16 amp socket on the end of this extension lead, which is also from America, and we still have the American socket on it. So yeah, he hasn't cut that off because he's a little bit nostalgic about his time in the States, and yeah, so we might as well leave it on because it works. So that's it guys, there you go. That's my power tools, the tools I use every day as a Sparks. Hopefully this has been interesting. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button. And I'm going to get out of here now and have a hot whiskey because my voice is going and my head is bunged up, and a good hot whiskey tends to do the job. I'll see you in the next one guys, take it easy.